So I never know whether to wait for it to stop spinning or if it's actually, I think it's live right now. Yeah.
Don't forget to hit record.
All right, record. And we're going to cue the intro music. Here it comes.
Oh,
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We are live in life at a car dealership with your hosts, Ben and Brett, two recently re-employed pre-owned sales managers in the great state of Michigan, where sales was shut down, but now it's just slow. Joining us today, the one and only, the Mr. Brian Pasch.
Come on, bring it on. It's good to be here.
The intro was too long. I'm going to get a copyright infringement for that. Most of this is unusable because the intro's too long. We need to write a letter to Peter Gabriel. What do you think, Brett?
yeah, man.
Right.
I think he'd be cool with that.
I think he'd be cool with it too. Yeah, I wonder what that, like, how long that.
It's an organic use of the music, so he can't be upset.
Well, but YouTube still won't publish it. Like they'll put it on there, but we could never monetize, for instance. Which again, we're not doing this to get paid, but
No, of course not.
right, yeah. So Friday roundup. So Friday's the day for guests, you know. And anybody new to the show, Brett, you want to kind of just give them the quick rundown here of what to expect in case nobody's seeing us for the first time.
Yeah, for sure. We're a comment-driven show, so we bring on guests, or it's just me and Ben. And we have a special guest today, Brian, and he will answer any questions that you have. He'd be more than happy to do that. So fire away.
Yeah, bring it on.
Brian's a super interesting guy, right? He's written many books, founder of a couple different companies, right?
That's right.
So is the main thing, like, is it kind of Brian Pasch Enterprises or is it PCG companies?
So Brian Pasch Enterprises takes the two conferences that we do each year. One's in the spring, one in the fall. The consulting in the dealership or, for private meetings, all the books and online courses. That's Brian Pasch Enterprises.
Okay.
And then the other company, PCG Digital, is an agency that's just focused on automotive. So we've been in business since 2005, 15 years.
So you're diversified. Hey, I'm going to click into this real
year.
quick. Turn this on mute. Okay, great. Now I can see the comments. So you're kind of the marketing guru, right? Digital marketing specifically.
Yeah. So, there's been a lot of people who've come and gone. There's not many people who've been laser focused, helping dealers at tier 3 for 15 years. I love it. And I keep on, educating, leaning in and building the next generation of automotive professionals.
Yeah. Automotive professionals, automotive retail professionals.
Come on.
Were you ever an automotive retail professional, Brian? Did you ever sling the metal, so to speak?
No. And, when I first started, there were some people, you always have haters a little bit, right? And what do you know about selling cars? And okay. And at one point I felt a little bad and I said, well, maybe I'll go and just sell cars for a few months. And I had a great person who gave me some coaching, say, Brian, man, do what you do.
Yeah.
I mean, just no one does what you do. So, don't try to be someone who you're not. So I've always fantasized about, like doing nothing for a few months and then, that fantasy quickly faded.
Man, I was really hoping that you would say you signed up to be a car salesman and couldn't sell anything. I think that'd be a better story, don't you think?
Right. I teach people how to sell.
Because those who can't do, teach.
Right.
And those who can't teach Jim.
That's right. I love that. Yeah. The fun thing is I love to sell. And as an entrepreneur, starting my business with just me and then building up for, now what's an international organization. I don't mind selling and I love the sales game. It's just that, my background is a little bit more technical, a little bit more on the marketing side. And that played really well in the rapid evolution of retail marketing for automotive. For a long time, it was just radio and television, direct mail. And today it's like 10, 12 different channels. It used to be 3 or 4. Now it's 10 or 12.
So I want to ask you a question because this is life at a car dealership.
Right.
These are most, like, this group is geared kind of specifically toward salespeople and service advisors and technicians.
Sure.
Okay. And we got some dealers and general managers and sales managers and whatever, and office people and warranty administrators. We got everybody here, right? But it's mostly the regular folks in the car business. I don't know if I'm going to like your answer, but that's okay. But I want to ask you, what do you see as the role of the salesperson in the new digital age? What's the role of the salesperson?
Well, I think that for, most people who are in sales, when you really break it down, it's that these products don't move out the door by themselves, right? It's all about relationships. And what I'm most excited about is that the COVID pandemic really changed our thinking. Like, we had these websites, right? And I don't know if you've heard this phrase before, but people have said, your website is your virtual showroom. Your website is your virtual showroom. And okay, if that was the case, let's just accept that. But no one ever staffed it. So when consumers came to the dealer's website and had a simple question like, what's the price, or is it in stock? They'd be like, oh, sorry, no one's here.
Right.
Pop up a form. We'll get back to you when we want to. So I think the shift that the COVID pandemic told us is that we never staffed our virtual showroom. So now for sales professionals, it's going to be more of a job of, can you be multi-device? Can you be very flexible on how you communicate? It's not just the showroom. Can you text? Can you Zoom meeting? Can you do remote walkarounds? This is the skills of the new salesperson, because why wait on the point for the next step?
Why have the salesperson at all, though? That's my question. See, I'm on a quest here, Brian. Brett and I are both.
Go ahead.
We're young men in our 30s. Well, Brett's not.
Yeah.
30. You're not 30 yet, are you, bud?
In like 15 days.
Okay, so you are almost there.
Right around the corner.
We're gonna have a big party. We're gonna make you drink 30 beers, and you won't wake up the next morning. We're on a quest to justify our existence here, because we're young men that have devoted our lives to retail automotive.
Okay. And
for fulfillment, for purpose, and for our primary source of income. And I what are we doing? Right? Why are there salespeople at all? I have an answer. I don't know. I've been asking this question a lot. I posted it in the group. 2 questions, guys. What's your job as a car salesperson, and what service do you provide for the customers? What do you think we heard back from people?
Well, I hope that people love serving, people. I mean,
right.
Sales is about serving the needs of others. And I don't care whether you're selling cosmetics or, whether you're selling cars, there's a need and a question, and there's someone who needs assistance, and we provide that. I will tell you that the pandemic has shown us that most dealers were anywhere from 30 to 40% overstaffed through the lack of use of technology. And I will tell you, if I was young and my career was in automotive, I'd be laser focused in using all the tools that are available to be super efficient. I think that the people who embrace technology will make more money than ever before, but there'll be less slots to take the work. That is what I'm hearing across the board.
What do you think about that, Brett?
Yeah, I mean, right now I'm running with 3 salespeople, and we're normally at 6. And I feel like 2 of my 3 salespeople are the younger generation, and they're running pretty efficiently in a no showroom type situation. And then we have another guy who's been in the business for probably 20, 25 years, and he's getting better day by day. And in a sense, it's kind of a blessing that we have to do everything through digital retailing and communicating with people through the computer and text and email. And he's kind of grown as a person and a salesperson in that role too.
So, okay. So the website's the virtual showroom.
We just never staffed it.
But we never staffed
we
it.
just never staffed it. We literally spent all this money on photos and descriptions and pretty websites, and no one ever thought, hey, let's staff it.
So are you telling me, all right, because we're in GM world, so we've been shop clicking and driving.
That's the worst, the absolute worst product known to man. Go ahead.
We've been shop click driving for 10 years. I don't know if we sold a single car doing this.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe there was one. We made somebody do it so they could get the $100 accessory coupon. Right. So listen, okay.
Shop click drive, if you think about it, and I wrote an article about this on LinkedIn a few weeks ago, nominating it as the worst digital retailing tool known to man.
I second the nomination.
Yeah. So for most GM dealers, when they click on Shop Click Drive, it takes them off the dealer's website onto, the GM dot, whatever. And it's a horrible experience. And on a mobile device, they can't get back.
Yeah.
It's why would you spend tens of thousands of dollars to get people to your website, and then when they have a basic question, just a basic question about the affordability, you ship them off to a completely different experience, and then you lose all trackability. I don't know who was paid off for that one.
I do.
Brian, I got another question for you. So recently,
wait. I'll save the question. Hold on, just for a second, because I want to stay on this for just a minute. Hold the question in your mind. Put a pin in it. Don't let it go. So, are you telling me, Brian, the virtual showroom has been open this whole time, but it's been unstaffed? Are you telling me that there is still a desire from the customer for personal interaction?
Listen, that's all they've been asking for. But here's the problem. We kept on saying the website was important, but the truth of the matter is the mantra that was behind all sales teams was just get them in, just get them in, just get them in.
Yeah.
So you put really, and I want to be careful on what I'm going to say. You put people into BDC whose hands were tied.
Yep.
They weren't trained. They were told, don't talk price, don't answer questions, just get them in. And so what we did was, literally offend 3/4 of the people who had questions, and the people who pushed through from all the crap that we put them through. Well, those were the Spartans. I call them the online Spartans. They went through all the obstacles because, they wanted to buy it.
So even though the digital retailing is the way of the future, there's still a personal interaction here that people are craving, and that's necessary in order to facilitate this deal. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, any digital retailing tool, I've inspected them all. The ones that have integrated chat and screen sharing and co-browsing typically are 2-to-1, sometimes 3-to-1 effective on when compared to a tool that has no integrated chat or human interaction.
All right. Ask your question, Brett, and then I got a follow-up question for Brian.
Come on, Brett.
Yeah, I know you're talking about Shop Click Drive, and we just switched over to AutoFi at my Ford store.
Yeah.
And we've probably seen a growth of, I don't know, I'd say even 100 to 200% of leads coming in through that platform. Is that one of the ones that you like, or do you like some of the aspects of that?
Sure. So Ford dealers, a lot of Ford dealers are using AutoFi, and it's a very great product. You have two switches, though, you have to think about with AutoFi. Number one, they are a shopping cart tool. So a lot of Ford dealers just add another button to their website, like customize payments, but there's like 8 other buttons. It's like a crowded VDP. So AutoFi will do customized payment, value your trade, schedule a test drive, get pre-approved. But, a lot of Ford dealers still have a dealer track, get pre-approved. They still have some bullshit schedule a test drive form. They'll have another trade tool. And in order for AutoFi really to shine, you got to strip off those other buttons and go all in.
Yeah.
And then the second thing with AutoFi is that the tool works ideally best when you don't gate the first click with a form. allow the consumer to, put in their trade, play around with their payments.
Get 4 or 5 screens deep.
Get the hook in the fish. But since we're so addicted to leads are the drug, not appointments. Dealers say, no, I want more appointments. Like I'm saying, sorry, don't tell me you want more appointments. If the first click says customize my payments, and without any context, it says, give me all your information so I can send you the deal. Well, they haven't even worked the deal yet. They don't even know if the deal is a good deal. Why would I give you my information? So AutoFi works best in a simplified Ford VDP with the form gate towards the end.
Perfect. Yeah, I think we have ours set up that way. We basically stripped everything down, and it's just AutoFi on there now. But real quick, for the people that are watching, we have Brian with us. He does some digital retailing, some digital marketing, how to better yourself in that aspect. So salespeople, if you have questions for him, fire away. Also, let us know what digital retailing tools you're using at your store. Pretty cool stuff from Brian so far.
We want to say hello to Stephen Brazel. He says people want a personal experience and to build trust with their salesperson. For most people, a car is their second most expensive purchase. I agree with you 100%. Welcome, Hannah. Congratulations. She sold 2 today. Woohoo!
Bring it on, Hannah.
One of her deals has a birthday tomorrow, which is also her birthday. Hey, happy birthday to Hannah!
Wow.
Yeah.
Double birthday treat.
Nick Weisbeck says he sent a personalized message via email or text if he couldn't reach them by phone. Now a sales manager can't get my peeps to do the same. They're losing people with generic emails that don't reach the majority. Hey, what's up? And to Kimberly O'Brien, hello from Louisiana. What part of Louisiana? Is there a daiquiri bar in your town?
No,
isn't it required?
Yeah. I'm gonna go to Louisiana just so I can drive through and get a 32-ounce daiquiri.
Hold on. In New Jersey, Ben, the governor passed a law that the bars can serve. Now, this is new for New Jersey, by the way, not in Louisiana. They can do cocktails to go. So the restaurant right down the street was in mason jars. And this is never done in New Jersey. Mason jars with like frozen rosé and Italian margaritas, literally in ball jars. And I'm laughing because it's almost like, Mardi Gras-ish, behavior.
They're doing keg stands in Wisconsin right now. They went right from the state capitol over to the bar.
Nothing wrong with that. You can't fault them.
We're headed there, man.
They've been in the house for 60 days.
Oh, we're having a hard time in Michigan, man. It's just like, it feels like because I said so, because I said so. Just don't ask any more questions. Because I said so.
I got another follow-up question if you lost yours.
Go ahead. No, I'm trying to work it in. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I just want to jump off Nick's comments. A lot of times dealerships use templates and like, hey, day 1 you send this email, day 2, day 4. Do you kind of side with Nick on trying to make those as personalized and custom as possible, or would you prefer like a straight follow-up method with pre-written templates?
So, and let's add a caveat to that, right? Here's the process. Here's the best practice until you establish two-way communication. Or do you customize every time, regardless of whether you've established contact?
Okay, so the first thing to understand is that the website or the decisions that the dealer principal general manager makes really significant impacts how the sales team can work. For example, I believe we should go formless during normal business hours, so there is no reason to pop up a form during normal business hours. So there should be 3 buttons on a car, right? One would be, personalize your payments with whatever DR tool, schedule a test drive, and ask me a question. That schedule a test drive and ask me a question should go right to chat. And the good chat tools today will send out a notification to every salesperson in the dealership. Hey, there's someone on our website that has a question.
It's enough.
And we should be talking with them. So forget about this whole email. So the number 1 is stop chasing, start serving. So if you turn into a serve mentality, you will double your monthly sales opportunities instead of wasting time chasing. Okay. But what about after hours and you don't feel you have a competent chat provider that can queue up things and kind of set the stage for the next morning? The forms that you require, most dealers, the form is first name, last name, email address required. But if you think about your phone, how many unread emails do you have versus how many unread text messages? The answer is 0 unread text messages and 200 or 300 unread emails. So the other thing that we should understand is most people are messaging today, whether it's WhatsApp or Facebook or just texting. Why would you tell people to, use an email? Number one. Number two, a lot of the leads that we get are because we play games with the consumer, like unlock price or check availability. So consumers know this and they use their secondary email address, not their primary, the throwaway.
Right.
So part of our process, our problem is, since we don't engage and serve and chase, people know the game and they give us their throwaway email. And so that's very discouraging for the average salesperson because they're following up on ghosts.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. That being said, you should have an autoresponder on every form that tells the consumer that the process worked, meaning that the form was received.
Sure. Yeah.
Number two, that autoresponder should be encouraging them to use the digital retailing tool so that if it's 10 o'clock at night and for whatever reason they missed it because your merchandising sucked, you say, hey, if you click on this link, you can pencil your whole deal on this car. And when we're back in the morning, we'll, pick up where you left off. So the autoresponder should be proactively getting them back into the digital retailing tool. Then, based on the staffing and technology, there's absolutely no reason that salespeople should be chasing ghosts. And that's why some of the automation tools like a Conversica or whatever will start some very basic email flows until the person responds. And why would you do that, Brian? Why isn't it about those personal response? Because the salesperson's time is valuable and they got to get paid and they're paid off a commission. Mm-hmm. And so if the dealership is playing games like check availability form, unlock price form, that salesperson is going to be wasting over 50% of their time chasing ghosts. I would use automation. If the dealer is not playing games and those forms are natural and contextually relevant, then I'd work them personally. It really depends on whether you're screwing the customer through playing cat and mouse games. You can't respond to all of them because half of them are like, you suck at Gmail. Listen, if your website has unlock price, and here's what happens. The form comes up and it says, I will show you the price instantly on the screen. You have to fill out this information. Well, what does the consumer do? You suck at gmail.com. And they get the price, right? And you get this lead and you laugh, right? Hold on. The salesperson in laughs like, ha, ha, ha. Look, they put in you suck at gmail.com. But you know what that's screaming? I know your game. I don't like your game. I'm smarter than you. And if you're going to play these games with me, I'm not going to engage with you. And so the salesperson's response strategy has to be based on whether or not you want to serve or chase. If your whole dealership is based on bullshit and chase, then you cannot personally respond to every email. You will put a gun to your head over time.
I'm laughing because somebody got that in the up rotation as their internet lead.
Yeah.
So I want to jump in just because the people are watching. In the comments, type in the funniest email address that you have seen come through on that.
Yes, come on. That's a good one.
I had Captain Kirk at starfleet.com the other day.
Yeah.
I had Sexy Cheeto Puff one time. That was actually a real person's email.
Sexy Cheeto Puff. Wow. And did you go check that person's Facebook profile just to see if
I actually got them?
sexy?
This is when I was a salesperson. I actually got them in the store and sold them.
All right.
So like I was helping take the credit app, and I was like, so I have your email down as, and I had to say it out loud. Is this a good email for you? She's like, yeah.
It was a she. Of course, it was a she.
Right.
That is hysterical.
I had Monkey Axe Murderer one time. At Yahoo.com.
Yeah. You definitely listen, if it's an AOL.com, you know it's going to be some crazy name.
So yeah, that's interesting. We talk about there are, it seems like, two camps still in automotive retail. There's kind of the old school of like it's person against person kind of, right? And we work the person. And that's old school. I had a recent experience with that went very poorly at an RV dealership. You want to know what the car business was like 20 years ago? Just go to a bad RV dealership.
Oh, listen, I've consulted with all sorts of motorsports, and I can understand.
I mean, those guys are the Wild West. And then the new school is kind of like, we're here to guide, we're here to consult, we're here to help. We actually want to talk to you. We don't just want to work you, right? And it sounds like, in your opinion, digital retailing is an aid to the personal contact, the personal touch, right?
It's just a tool,
right?
But this tool is powerful if it's used in a collaborative sense. I will tell you this: there isn't a dealer I know who's leaned into digital retailing and's done it right that's making less gross. Yeah. So this whole
but isn't it funny? That's the fear. That's the fear.
No, the fear is like, hey, if I talk to somebody, they're going to run down the street and beat my deal by $100. Okay, now there is a group of people, I don't know what percentage they are, who will do that. Okay, but I'm just going to say, for me, whether my payment is $349 or $359 a month means nothing to me. And I'm not saying that like money isn't important to me, but to me, it's a rounding error of life. If I go on a website and I want something and somebody pops up and says, hey, I'm here to help you configure your payments. What are you looking at? Blah, blah, blah. And they're helping me. Am I really grinding that person? Here's what we find out. The answer is no. Well, when you create a hostile environment, when the person's bat radar starts flashing like, this is creepy shit, like no one else in the world does this, like, retail like this, then people get their defenses up, and that's when the confrontation happens. But I've filmed people buying cars with digital retailing tools, and many of them don't negotiate, even though they've negotiated in the past, because it just feels like this is the process to buy a car today. And it shows them their payment, allows them to, check off their insurances and their protection packages. And it all comes down and they're like, okay, here's what's coming. Okay. Yeah, I can do that.
Right.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And, a lot of people jumped in the comments, and you kind of hit home on a lot of things, and people are really responding to, when you're working with a real customer with a real email, customize your stuff, show them you care, and you'll be remembered more than the guy down the street that just rifled through send email in your CRM. So I 100% agree. And I think that's what makes people have this as a job or as a career. If you're a career, you're trying to build relationships, get multiple sales from one person. If it's a job, you're just there to click the button and try to be done as fast as possible.
Yeah. So let me tell you one company that's doing something a little different, and their company name is awesome. It's called Frickin' Tech, and it's for frictionless technology with a wink, wink. But so Frickin' Tech has a product called LuminaQuote, and what I love about this is basically your first response is like, hey, I see you're interested in this for, Explorer. Work your own deal. Just click on this link. The autoresponder isn't the VDP like to your web. It's an IllumaQuote link for that car. When when the consumer clicks on this, think about this is their own personal desking. And it allows them to pick finance, cash, or lease, allows them to change like a digital retailing tool. But here's the cool thing. When they're in there using it, and every time they go back and use it, the salesperson sees what they're doing. Very cool. And it will show where they are, like literally on the map. So if it's like some dude shopping you from California just to, work a deal, right? Shows where the person is, how often they go back in. So contextually, the salesperson can respond and say, hey, just check in on, your interest in the vehicle. Like they're watching the whole deal and they're saying, oh, they're playing around with leasing. Okay. The salesperson can say, listen, we got some amazing new lease programs, meaning contextually, the salesperson is seeing them pencil their own deal, has complete ability to see what's going on. And here's the cool thing. That can be an Auto Trader lead. That can be a TrueCar lead, right? That can be a Cars.com lead or a website lead. So a lot of the digital retailing tools will eventually evolve to allowing the consumer to pencil their deal from any lead source and give the salesperson the ability to share screens, push deal data back and forth, almost like a private one-on-one website. And I think that's going to be a breakthrough for salespeople because it won't be email anymore, right? It's almost like a private network connection between the customer and the salesperson.
What product is that?
Frickin' Tech.
It's called IllumaQuote from Frickin' Tech.
Okay, cool. Who owns that? Is that a private company?
Private company, yeah.
Cool. I know Auto Trader actually has some of that technology built into the back of their website right now. We can see where the leads come from, like by city.
Yep. Yeah, so this is like, so there's two thinking here. So I think Gabagoo does the same thing and CarNow does the same thing, is that you can actually push in your first email response, almost like a deal jacket, a custom deal jacket. Yeah. So when the customer clicks on the link, it brings up the car with the DR tools. I think that's really cool because once somebody says, I have some questions, you can answer them. And then in the response, you can say, look, I'm providing you this link that will allow you to get a couple ideas of payments based on how much you want to put down or what your credit score is. And I'd love to collaborate with you. I mean, isn't that pretty much what most people want? Can I afford this car? And of course, for the most part, these tools work great. Special finance, people with challenge credit. You asked the question earlier, Ben, what are salespeople for? These tools are not perfect for special finance people, right? If the deal has a lot of hair on it, there's a lot of massaging that often has to get done. So, serving people with challenge credit is another reason why you have to have that human interaction. This is not just ordering something off Amazon.
So I want to address a comment from Luis. He says he's been in the business only 6 years, but having a conversation with a 23-year veteran who is adapting well to the newer methods, says the process is the same, but going about it is different. And what he means, Luis, I'm certain that what he means is the psychological process of decision making has not changed, right? The human brain goes through certain steps in order to make a large decision, especially a large purchase decision, and that did not just change. That's been the same forever. But the tools that we use, the methods of engagement are different. And so it's all about just finding the best way to help customers through that decision-making process. Now I want to ask you a question, Brian, but I have to lead up to it a little bit.
Come on, set it up. Give it to me.
Give me I got like a 3-minute preamble here to the question.
Okay, you got a minute and a half, 3 minutes, way too long for a podcast there.
And I'm telling you have 30 seconds.
and it'll still take me 5 minutes. All right, we teach a principle called the law of the line, okay? The line is the point when you ask for the sale, okay? So for us in the automotive, it's been when you lay down the financial proposal, that's the moment, okay? Everything that you say after that, if it's the first time it's coming up, It's just you being a salesman. It's just you trying to keep your deal together. If you've already talked about it in your first 45 minutes of communication with the customer, then the conversation flows naturally as you refer back to things you've already discussed. Right? Salespeople hear this and they're like, yes, that makes sense. I know that to be true. That's why it's a principle. It's the law of the line. It's just true. So that's why we're so afraid of getting the numbers out there ahead of time. Because we know that traditionally in our business, the moment in which we put the financial proposal in front of somebody is kind of the moment in which all the games begin, right?
Right.
And so we're trying to put that off as much as possible. We do a bad job, though, because we're afraid of encountering an objection. We do a bad job of taking the customer through the main part of the decision making before the line, and then we spin out trying to deal with the whole closing conversation that doesn't feel natural, and the customer pushes us away. So I'm thinking with digital retailing, the line has changed. It's no longer like when you see the payments.
It's not a hard line.
So, but there is a moment of decision when we say, are you ready
correct.
to move forward right now? I'm asking you for the business, right? And so that it's okay to maybe throw a payment out early on, but then continue the conversation to fill in all the rest of the details the customer needs to make their decision.
And Ben, you started the call today with, why do we still need people? So digital retailing doesn't necessarily work in a linear fashion, right? Someone may be very focused early on. What's my trade worth? What's my trade worth? And sometimes they're like, well, let's not worry about what your trade is worth. Let's see what car you have, because depending on what car you have, there may be some extra wiggle room. So one of the things we have not perfected as an industry yet is there a best practice for where to start? Most digital retailing tools, and Brett brought up AutoFi. AutoFi, they could start with a trade. If you have a button that said get your trade in value, it can insert right into AutoFi at the trade step. If somebody wants to get pre-approved, you can jump in at the right? So if you had the three basic steps after a car is selected, which is get pre-approved, value my trade, and then customize my payments. If those are the three steps, there is an art to know which order they go in. And that's where this sales consultant is really important to be listening and taking customers down through their own journey. For example, I personally would have never have known in all my years of owning a car how much I had left to pay off on a car. A lot of the DR tools ask the question, what's your credit score and how much do you have to pay off? Like there's one tool, Dealer eProcess, Sarah, they do a beautifully integrated soft credit pull. So no date of birth, no social security, just first name, last name, email, phone. They actually show the customer, which is amazing. It's like, are you trading in a car? Yes. Okay. All right. There's two cars that are associated with your name, this Toyota Camry and this Ford F-150. Which one do you want to trade in? And the cars show how much is left on the loan. Like it's mind blowing. The consumers are like, oh, that is so cool. And so they'll pick the Ford F-150 and it has exactly their payment as of yesterday. Okay. When you have those type of tools, man, as a salesperson, now you're absolutely more comfortable talking about payments. But Ben, if the tool is allowing the customer to put in their own credit score, which they're typically overly generous with, if it asks them, well, how much more do you have to pay off on the car? It could be for them to put $2,000. Well, tell you the truth, whether they're upside down on their loan or, they have equity makes a big difference. So why do we need real people? Because digital retailing is just a tool. The difference is the conversation is happening outside the showroom, and we need sales professionals who can use a tool in an very old selling technique, right, of establishing value, matching the right products to the needs, and making that person feel comfortable with the affordability. It just used to be done with 3 or 4 people in the showroom. Now it's done with one person via a Zoom meeting, a Skype call, text, or something else.
I want to address a comment from Nick, because this is the fear of all dealers, dealerships, retailers. I'm trying to get away from the word dealers. I like retailers better. Frank told me that. He said I'd talk about retailers, not dealers. People don't like dealers.
Infinity as a brand doesn't, like when I do coaching for Infinity, every one of my word tracks in my deck, everything is, they don't call dealers, they call retailers. And they don't call customers, they call them clients. So if you're an Infinity retailer, like they reprogram you.
Yeah, I like that language. Too bad Infinity doesn't have a brand anymore. But
well, that's a completely different, that's another night.
Is it a risk to see the payment right away and then stop the buying process? Question. The process or road to the sale allows them to fall in love. Now, here's the thing that's generally true. Generally, the payment is always higher than the customer had hoped it would be. Just like generally, the trade-in value is always less than the customer hoped it would be. Just like generally, the actual cost that they're going to pay for the new car is higher than what they had hoped it would be.
Right.
Okay, and so what we've done is put in a process to allow this whole thing to happen so that we can bill value, so that when we hit them with a payment that's higher than what they had hoped it would be, and a trade-in value that's lower, and a new car price that's higher, that they say, well, that sucks, that's higher than we hoped, but because of everything we've seen in the last hour and a half, we feel that it's worth it, so we'll go ahead and move forward, right? They want to be at $350. They jump on the website. They come in at $425, right?
Right.
And they don't do anything else because they're like, well, crap, I'm just at the $350. I can't go beyond that. This is a money first customer like you talk about.
Yeah.
Okay. But I think that if we are engaged with that customer when they see that payment, we can say, yeah, but that's no big deal. That's just one part of this thing. If that's ultimately all you can spend, that's fine. We'll find something that fits that budget. But hey, let me ask you some additional questions. What even puts you in the market for a car? Right? Is this your first time looking at a Chevy or a Ford or Toyota? What other models are you considering? What would you say is the most important thing? Who's it going to be for?
Ben, this is why you asked at the beginning, is there a future for salespeople? Is this just going to be e-commerce check the box? No, it's not. I was talking to a general manager of a Ford store in Texas today, and she told me two amazing stories. The customer was engaging with the digital retailing tools, but they weren't ready to make a decision. And a great salesperson understands when a no means a no. And she was saying, she told the customer, take the car home. Just take it home. It was a pretty expensive car. Take the car home, drive it, enjoy it for the weekend. If this car isn't for you, the next day the person goes, no one has ever allowed me to do that. No one has ever, I love this car. The last car I bought, I test drove it for an hour and I hated it for 3 years. I love this car, deal done. So you know, it's not the tools, it's the tools in the hand of a trained person. But the new twist is that we can't ambush people. You know, the techniques have to be more collaborative. I don't like the word transparent because it implies that car dealers weren't, you know, we're crushing people. I just think it needs to be more collaborative. We need to listen. We need to push information back and forth instead of hiding it. And if we do a good job of establishing value in context, we will sell more cars in less time. And when it's fuzzy, when we have some hair on the deal, then we're going to absolutely use non-digital retailing techniques, like you just said, Ben, which is going back to establishing value, going the extra mile, looking for a certified pre-owned car with a few thousand miles that you might be able to move them into. This is why salespeople are not going away. I just believe that the guy who is selling 5 or 7 cars a month is done, just toast. So they're not there. They're not going to be there post-COVID.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you on that. they've been hanging on by a thread
we've
for a
already
long
seen
time.
that in both of our experiences. We both have had that range at our store just decide that they didn't want to come back really. So I have a question though about the fuzzy deals. Based off, sorry for interrupting, Ben.
Go ahead.
Based off the fuzzy deals, I actually think that AutoFi has helped us a lot with those customers because they are sending in their credit information, and it gives us the perfect chance to reach out to them and say, hey, I just want to verify this information you sent in. It did respond that Ford declined because it tells them like Ford declined and whoever else is on there. I want to verify this information, and then it allows us to start that road to the sale again. What are you looking for? What are you trying to accomplish?
That's right.
So I think it's been a help for my dealership. I mean, I've probably had, since this COVID started, 8, 9, 10 credit applications come through, where the first year we owned the store, we maybe had one the total year. So
yeah, so it's kind of like in real estate, you can't engage the services of a realtor and go spend their time looking at houses without being pre-approved first. Right. So it's like everybody knows what their budget is, how much they can spend, and what that's going to translate to on a mortgage. And they know the flexibility they have within that range. And then they go out looking for houses and they try to find one they fall in love with. So in my view, it's like digital retailing is that. But then we're afraid of it because we're thinking that once they get that payment in the beginning, then they're just going to work it and work it and work it. And it's like, we just got to say, listen, here it is. Here's your financial framework. Now let's go find a car you like.
That's right. And again, there's two ways of looking at it. It could be a threat, or you could look at it as an assistant. I think digital retailing for most salespeople should be viewed as your own personal assistant. Instead of waiting at the desk, for deal approvals, now you can, in a sense, self-pencil, allow the consumer collaboratively. So you become more efficient because you're not waiting for other people, number one. And then number two, the technology that allows you to push effective virtual deal jackets to consumers and allow them to adjust the numbers, again, is like having a full-time desk manager as your assistant. And that, for the people who get it, will allow them to really double the number of sales that they were ever selling, even at their best month, if they embrace it fully on.
Yeah. So I kind of equate it to the salesperson that comes to the desk, let's say, to work first pencil. But we haven't actually done anything yet. We haven't actually showed the car. We haven't, right? They took a phone up, and 5 minutes later, it's like, he wants to know if we can do any better on the price. It's like, well, based on what?
Exactly.
Well, he just wants to know if we can do better. Okay, so you just took that question from the customer and you carried it to me, and you asked me the question. And for that service, you expect to be paid what?
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
But the salesperson is like, the customer asked me a question. I'm here to help, so I'm passing on that question. Can we do any better on the price? Well, no. Sorry, he says we can't do any better on the price. So it's like, that's just one little piece of the conversation.
And
so let the digital retailing do that first part for you, right?
That's right. Tell the customer, listen, I may be able to do better on price and get you into this car, but do you have a trade? Let's push that in.
Yeah.
And let me. Why don't you just fill out some basic information and start? If the salesperson says, listen, I'm going to make it, and I think these are the words that work the best. I'm going to make it faster and easier and mostly online to save you time. So if somebody says, hey, I want to buy the car, but I want a better price, great. At this dealership, we have a process. We call it Fast Pass. Like I'm a big believer that you call your digital retailing something. So, at ABC Ford, our Fast Pass technology allows you to buy your next car faster, easier, mostly online to save you time. Great. I want to spend less for that car. Super. Let's get you into Fast Pass. I'm going to send you a link, or, hey, let's go on the website. Let's co-browse. Let's go through the Fast Pass process, and then I'll be able to customize a personal, price for you. What is the customer going to say?
No.
No, they've asked you for a better price, and you're just saying at ABC Ford, we really make the best deal customized to you using FastPass. Let's go through the FastPass. Like, this is how we do business to make it faster, easier, mostly online to save you time. No person wants to waste time. Everyone wants it faster and easier. So it's a little bit of the Jedi mind trick of just saying, hey, you may have dealt with other dealerships before that run you around and go back and forth, but at ABC Ford, our FastPass technology allows you to be in control. Let me get you in there, and we'll see what we can do on that car. Okay, I don't think anybody who calls up out of the blue and when there's a price list that says, you got to do something better on me, expects you to just drop your pants and say, yeah, you're the president of what? Let me, Okay, let's start the process. Just say, this is how we do business here to make it faster, easier, mostly online to save you time. Let's get started. And if the guy was serious, he'll say, okay, if it's going to be faster and easier and it's going to save me time, all right, what do I have to do? So, okay, just go to the car and click that button that says Start FastPass. Let's walk through it together.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. I got another question, unless you had one, Ben.
Well, you were talking a lot about digital retailing. You want to just settle for us real quick? We're a dealership. We do business the right way. We want to treat the customers good. We want to sell a nice quality car at a fair price. What's the best digital retailer out there? What's the best platform? Budget is no concern. Which one do you pick? Come on. Is it freaking tech? Are they the best? Are you allowed to say, Brian?
AutoFi.
Yeah. So there's no single best platform because
I really thought I was going to just get you to just throw a name out there.
Yeah. So here's what I will tell you. Frickin' Tech is perfect for dealers who don't want to make a commitment to a full revolutionary DR platform. They're not ready to jump in. And there's a lot of people like that because here's the cool thing. Every lead gets a response with their own personal deal jacket, and every salesperson can see when that customer starts working their deal. Full transparency. It's almost like just sitting in the house with them. Okay. So I like that strategy for dealers to like, what's the baby steps? Okay, like that. If somebody says, my website sucks, I hate my website, it's horrible. Like a lot of, Chevy dealers just hate the templates, right? Well, adding Roadster, right, which has a complete, like they have their own VDPs, their own SRPs. Well, what if a dealer says, no, I love my website. It's just that I want something more collaborative. Well, then I think that the companies like CarNow, Gubagoo, and Dealer Inspire Conversations have that integrated, it's a tool with integrated chat. And that's huge, right? When you have an assistance. Now, the big news this, 2 weeks now, is that Cox had Accelerate for a long time, but they never had any interactive chat. So they partnered with LivePerson, and now the dealer.com digital retailing tool has integrated LivePerson dashboard with screen share, co-browsing, and video. That's a big change because my only gripe with the dealer.com tool is that if a consumer had a problem, there was no integration, right? So if you're a dealer group that's all on dealer.com, you should be looking at the new upgrade with the integrated, chat. If you are in a single website platform OEM and you hate your website, Roadster is a perfect choice, right? And then if you just say, no, I believe that consumers can't pencil their own deal. I have a little mixture of 3 or 4 or 5 different OEMs. I have 5 different websites. Okay, you may want to go with an independent platform like a CarNow or a Gubagoo or an AutoFi, right? Because they can plug into any platform. So there's not one best tool. It's a lot to do with your configuration of your OEM. Do they have an open website platform? Do you love your website? And do you believe in integrated live support? These are some, check boxes.
Sounds like something I would want a consultant to help me work through.
Well, look at that.
Which, for anybody who's watching, Brian will do for you gladly.
Well, hey, we don't make any money selling digital retailing or websites, but what we do is help dealers when they do pick their tools maximize the implementation. So we kind of clean up their websites, come up with a marketing strategy, get the banners together, simplify the VDPs, and then make sure that their marketing drives more consumers to it. And I would just tell everyone who's listening, if you're going to embrace digital retailing, please name it something and merchandise the website. Literally have banners, make sure the button stands out, get rid of all those extra crappy buttons that pop up forms, go all in and make a commitment to being open to allowing consumers to do remote retail.
Brett, are you guys still calling it The Real Deal?
Yeah, I believe it's still called The Real Deal. We changed our banner on AutoFi instead of get payment here. We changed it to something else. I can't remember what we changed.
What do you think of that one, Brian? Real Deal.
Well, I hate it. Let me tell you why. The real deal implies that the other numbers that you showed are bullshit. So it reinforces the whatever numbers are like, because you'll show MSRP and you'll show dealer discount and you'll show some rebates. And then the button says, get the real deal. Really what that's saying is I've been lying to you. And I'm not going to tell you the truth. But if you press this button, then I'll tell you the truth.
But what if it's all over the website? It's all one thing. We're the real deal.
Again, in context and respectful, your brand promise needs to resonate with people of all ages and all demographics. And the real deal means nothing. What is the real deal? I don't know. But that's why things like Fast Pass or Fast Lane, the fastest and easiest way to buy your car, or Fast Lane, the fastest and easiest way to service your car. Yeah. Your brand promise should be able to apply to sales and service. And everyone on this video chat today values two things. It's your time and convenience. Time and convenience. That's why Starbucks allows you to order your coffee. The lines are never that big, but if you want to get in and out, it's time and convenience. Best Buy never has huge lines, but hey, you'd like your TV off the warehouse shelf near the front door so you're in and out quickly. It's time and convenience. Your brand promise should be communicating that you respect people's time and you want to make it convenient and easier for them. And so dealers that say, their tagline, an experience you'll never forget. And I'll tell them like, oh, a shitty experience? And they're like, no, it means a great experience. I said, no, you didn't say that. It just said an experience you'll never forget. Oh, shit. It's like, so I want to encourage you, like the real deal reinforces the fact that dealers lie and can't be trusted. I'd get that shit right off my website.
We actually have it off. I just checked. Yeah. We're not using that anymore, Ben.
Good. Thank you, Brett.
All right, I got a 30-second question. Give me your short, sweet answer. This is kind of a wrap-up question. Where's the car business at in 5 years, in your opinion?
5 years?
Believe it or not, I think the car business will be a little bit more like we're seeing now as the breakthrough. I think these last 60, 90 days accelerated 3 to 5 years worth of change in 90 days. So here's what I think is going to happen. I'm hoping that in the future, the OEMs will not require dealers to build $20 million palaces. That's what I'm hoping. That being said, that's a hope. But where's the business? I think it is consumers are more comfortable buying cars online. You guys are young, so I'm an old man. I'm 58. And
I would have guessed 40.
Yeah. Well, listen, if we used to fly and get tickets, you get an envelope from the travel agent. The first time I booked an airline ticket online, I was nervous. And after I booked it, I called the travel agent. I did that a few times to make sure I didn't screw up. Now I'm like, I could be a travel agent. I'm the wizard of buying, tickets. in 3 to 5 years, we'll have consumers buying their second or third car more online. They're going to be used to a home delivery. They're going to be used to kind of contactless selling. And I think it's going to be more efficient. So I think the future retail is going to look like half the number of employees selling the same amount of cars, better customer experience, less stress, and it will be more of a true value proposition of service and experience. And I'm hoping that dealers will eventually get a break where they won't have to put so much money in real estate for vanity purposes, and the OEMs will realize that, not to the extreme of Texas Direct running hundreds of cars out of a warehouse, but the capital cost to a dealer today to build a franchise palace, even though the OEM is subsidizing a lot of that cost, it's a cost of the OEM and it's a cost of the dealer. I would think that we would have a little bit more humble pie when it comes to
it's kind of like education, right? I mean, you don't have to go to a big expense, you don't have to have huge buildings, perfect glass everywhere in order to get a good education, right? You can get a good education sitting around in someone's living room if they're smart people talking.
Well, listen, we would say that even though we're all full of shit and we don't even know what we're talking about here. No. But here's the truth, Ben. My generation, who went to college, when people said I did my degree online, we kind of snicker and in our brains say, well, it couldn't have been that great. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just going to be totally transparent. In one more generation, it's the norm, right? So we have to kind of push through and Brett, you said 3 to 5 years, maybe 3 to 5 years. Some of the original founders of dealerships change and understand that giving price online, being more collaborative is not a bad thing. But you're absolutely right. People today are doing online education and brilliant, just changing times.
Yep.
Well, you've been more than generous with your time, so thank you for that. Really have appreciated talking with you. We did it. We went the full hour, man. That's a long conversation. Bless you.
It was a good one.
Where are you?
It was a good one.
Where are you at? Are you in New Jersey?
In New Jersey, yeah.
You're in New Jersey.
I live in Florida, but I come up to New Jersey for a few months.
Okay, all right, yeah, because you're walking around in your morning walks, which if anybody wants to know, Brian goes live. Most mornings or some mornings?
Yeah, around 7:30.
Yeah, it's 7:30. Brian goes for a walk. You can join him live. That's been kind of a cool experience. But I always see these palm trees walking around, and it looks so pleasant there. And then, but it is. Your cell phone number's from New Jersey, and so I was really confused. I'm trying to figure out where in New Jersey there's palm trees.
Yeah, they don't exist.
They're not. Any parting thoughts that you would like to leave us with, or leave our group with?
Listen, I think anybody who has their focus and love cars and love selling, do not look at the COVID crisis as a reason to change career. This should be an opportunity to stand apart by using the tools, be a good student of the technology, communicate with your dealer to serve, not chase. And this is a career that could very well set you for your life in a really wonderful way, especially now that so many industries have been blown up. People are always going to need cars. So don't change jobs, just change your perspective that we need to serve, not chase, and use technology to sell twice as many cars in the same hours that we're already putting in. And that means more money in your pocket, more capability for you to support your family.
I love it. Thanks, Brian. On that bombshell, we will cue the exit music. Stick around for just a couple seconds, okay? Just a couple seconds after we end. Ladies and gentlemen, here, hold on. I'm really muffing up the intro, the exit music here. Here goes. This has been Life at a Car Dealership Live with your hosts, Ben and Brett, welcoming Brian Pasch, the one and only. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us. Hope you all have a great evening. Good luck as you foray into the wild unknown, the final frontier of digital retailing. Peace out, y'all.